What age you met the Locks?
Uh, like 14.
14. Who introduced you to them?
It's a crazy story, but
Yo, stop it.
it is because I can't just answer it with a simple answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I
No,
be like,
his
yo,
story is a
I
crazy
introduce
story.
myself to them, you'd be like, how? But that's the way it happened. So it's like a long story.
Take your
Um,
time.
all right. So I'm gonna tell you something that I probably never told nobody in the interview. Before I even met them, it led up to me meeting them. But when I was living in the shelter, because remember I told you I moved in the shelter coming from North Carolina.
First, yeah.
My mother befriended a lady there, and I found out. Well, actually, she told me the woman was Mace's mother's best friend. She was from Harlem too.
Mm.
She ended up telling us where Mace's mother lived at, and it just so happened that Mace's mother had a house in Mount Vernon. I ended up going to Mace's mother's house with my demo because I was like a big Mace fan at the time. Mace was like that dude, so
He was fire.
I was rocking my fitted caps, like him over my eyebrows, all that. You know what I mean? Like I was like a Mace head. I ain't gonna front. Pulled up to the crib with my demo, knocked at the door. She came out like, "Who the hell are you?" Like I'm like, "Look, man, I'm a fan. I just wanted to, give you my CD to get to your son and all that other type of shit." So nothing ended up happening from that. Moved to Yonkers. I wasn't too familiar with the Locks. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm from North Carolina. So, but I did like hear about a group from there being signed to Puff. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do some research. Let me see if I can find these dudes. I hear that they be out here. So let me see what's up. And I didn't live too far from there where they supposedly hung at. So one day I took it upon myself to go to Sheik's house. At the time, Sheik lived with his uncle. They were still in the hood type shit. So I went down to his crib. I found out where he lived at. And anybody that's watching this, don't take this approach because it won't work these days. I don't advise you to do this. But I went to his crib with my demo and a flyer. Sheik wasn't there. His uncle answered the door, and he like, "Yo, who are you?" I introduced myself and told him, why I was there. He was looking at me like I was crazy, but he respected it though.
At the time, you were still J Love at the time, or you J
Yeah,
Hood now?
J Love. But I was always J Hood because low key because my last name is Hood, but I just didn't accept the name at the time. Yeah, but I gave him the demo. Nothing came about from that. So I found out where they hung at. I end up going there, but like it was weird because I didn't say nothing to them when I first seen them. I seen them like standing in front of the store, and I like stood on the other side of the store, just sitting there in the front, just like 20 feet away from everybody until somebody just looked over. They kept looking like, "Yeah, know this nigga?" They like, "Yo, who is this?" Like, so you know what I mean? Like
By yourself too? You by yourself?
by myself, dolo. Like, you know
so
what I
you
mean?
just sitting there.
Yeah, they like, "Yo, who the fuck is this little nigga right here?" Like,
Crazy. Yeah.
you know what I mean? I seen this little nigga at the basketball court when we over there. Now I seen him in the front of the store. Like, anybody know this nigga? They like, nah. So I forgot who came up to me, but I think Busy came up to me. He like, "Yo, what's up, man? Who you?" I'm like, "Jay." Nigga Luch was like, "Jay." I'm like, "Yeah." He like, "What's good with you? Who you?" Like that, where you from and all that other type of shit. So I started explaining who I was and all that type of shit. But I ended up jumping in the cipher in the front of 354 like one day, and they heard me, and SP advised me to go to the Rough Rider studio. You know what I mean? Because at the time they used to call it the dungeon. Everybody used to go there to spit. You know what I mean? Like people from everywhere, like Philly, Baltimore, New Orleans, like anywhere that has anybody that claimed to spit, they came there to dump. So I used to go there all the time after P told me to go there. I used to battle cats like Cassidy, Larceny when he was in the group. Like all types of people was there. Like, you know what I mean? So that was cool for me. I was actually supposed to be signed to Rough Riders before we started the D Block thing. But I didn't because we started that movement. But after a while they just took a liking to me. Because I guess they seen the ambition and they seen the hunger and I was just a little different.
So you were part of not part. So you saw them, and they asked you who you are. Now you rocking with them basically until you go to Rough Riders. You was battling. You see, you battle Cassidy. Who was your hardest battle out there?
I mean, probably Cass, cause it was ill because I used to be in a group, you know what I mean, and like in the group that I was in, I used to always be the dude with the most bars. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody would run out of rhymes, and I used to, like, have infinite rhymes, like, for days and days and days. So, and that's how Cass was. It'd just be like me and him at the end type shit, just going for hours and hours and hours and hours type shit. And then, like, other dudes used to be in there, and we used to just be going at it. But me and Cass and Larceny, we definitely used to go in.
So what's next now from there? What's next?
From where?
From like, so now, like, what's next?
For me?
Yeah.
I got a project called Pesci coming out independently through my imprint.
No.
What you talking about?
Why would we jump? Yo, give me my
Yeah, that's what I'm
shoes.
saying. I'm like, what you mean what's next? Like,
Nah,
what?
what's next from, nigga, follow the timeline, huh?
I'm like, yo, dog.
The hell?
Hey, all right, look, so, yeah, you feel me? All right, so,
That boy's ready.
so this is what happened now. We, Sheik and his best friend and my former manager, we were sitting at Sheik's best friend house one day, and we came up with the idea to start a movement, obviously, which is the D-Block movement. At the time, we didn't have the name, but we just, came up with the idea to start the movement. And, they told me what my position would be. Later, SP and Kiss came aboard. You know what I mean? So we started, like, doing freestyles to distribute to different DJs and stuff like that. And, early in the game, I was screaming Locks Entertainment because we didn't have a name figured out. And then we finally, came up with a name.
But you wasn't signing them yet, right? You didn't sign
Nah, I didn't sign any.
Okay.
I wasn't officially.
So you and Sheik started, or
Right.
the D Block came from you and Sheik, basically.
Right. It's like, so, being young, I didn't see the importance of embracing an actual title, like a co-founder, because in all actuality, that's what I was. You know what I mean?
What makes you a co-founder?
Because what I just elaborated on, I was there from the start of it. We sat there and came up with the idea to form this movement. Your position is going to be this. So if someone is there from the actual start of something, I would say that they're a co-founder of that, especially if they contributed to, to the blocks that it took to build this.
Interesting.
So I don't see myself as like an artist that came somewhere after it was already established. You know what I'm saying?
And you and Sheik came up with the idea, and that's what it was. But you didn't have the name. You just elaborated on that.
We didn't have the name at the time.
We didn't have the name. Both of y'all. Got it. So, Kiss and Styles come on board.
Right.
But y'all don't have a name yet.
The name came after everybody sat and just brainstormed about a couple names, and P threw the D-Block thing out there, and that's what stuck. So once that stuck, everybody sat down collectively and was like, yo, this is what we gonna do. Kiss is the most popular out of the three, so this is your job. You gonna do this, you gonna do this, da da da. Low key is really Lucha shit though. You feel what I'm saying? But when they come together collectively and
Yeah, shit.
yeah, you feel me? So
This nigga is funny. Yo, so don't squint your eyes, nigga. No, let me put my laptop down so you can look at me directly in my eyes, man. Be squinting. Yeah, I'm right here. You can see me straight. So you came up with the joint. Y'all came up with it collectively. Those two come on board. Now what happens next from there? He comes up with the name D Block. What happens next?
we started to execute the plan that we made. You feel what I'm saying? We started
Flood the market.
recording freestyles,
Yeah.
distributing them to the DJs. We started seeing the outcome, you know what I mean, of what we was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we like, you know what, this is crazy. Let's keep it up. After a while, what ended up happening was, because the underlying plan was to put enough material out to generate a big enough buzz to get a distribution deal.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we ended up generating a big enough buzz to do that. We got a deal, our first deal, because we got two. Our first deal was with Universal Motown, which was structured for a Chic Lucha album and a J Hood album. Sort of like a package deal. They didn't want one without the other. So we went over there and we got that deal done. My album was slated to come out. Chic dropped Walk With Me. And and that was that. His album came out. He wasn't too pleased with the outcome of it. He ended up negotiating another deal with Koch, which was that deal was structured the same way as the Universal deal. He talked me into leaving Universal. Not saying it in a bad way or nothing. I'm just saying like how it went down. But he talked me into leaving Universal. He told me that I would make $3 off of each album versus me staying over at Universal making 80 cents. You know what I'm saying? So being the age that I was and looking at them, how I looked at them, it was like a no-brainer. I was like, you know what? He was like, yo, you can stay here, da-da-da. I'm like, I'm out. So I ended up going with them. I was like, especially if you guys could get me out of this situation, because I had got an advance, obviously from signing that deal with Universal.
Right.
So I'm like, I mean, whatever. If you could get me out of there, yeah, I'm gonna go over there and make the $3. So I ended up getting out of it, and we signed that deal with Koch afterwards. Like I said, which was structured the same way. And Sheik ended up dropping there, and like I said, I was slated to come out. I probably should have. Matter of fact, it's not even a probably. I should have stayed on the major label, which was Universal, because being a new artist, I needed everything that a major label offered.
All that extra support and
I
everything
needed everything.
Yeah.
I needed the marketing, I needed the promo. I needed everything. I needed that machine. These guys, the independent thing would have worked in their favor. More so, it would have more than it would have worked for me, because I was new.
And they already established at the time. They already had
They was well established at the time.
Got you. So, you guys go to Koch now.
Right.
The he puts a project out. You said he puts
album
album
Yeah,
out.
he put his first album out over there on Koch, and before he even put that album out, what happened was this. I felt like, and this is just me being realistic. This wasn't me having a big head or anything like that. I mean, I wasn't oblivious to what was going on. I wasn't naive or nothing. I knew exactly what was going on. Like I said, this is not me speaking big-headedly or nothing, but I had shit on. I had the streets stupid. You feel what I'm saying? The buzz was retarded. So he's telling me, they told me that they would rather me drop first. You know what I mean? Because I'm more of a short shot, because I'm an artist that was already out. I was a team player, so I didn't argue with that. Even though in my mind
you felt like
and in my
had
heart,
the buzz, you was ready to go.
Right. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. So he dropped. I was in total support. And okay, now it's time for my project to be finalized. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to, everything that I'm asked of. But I'm not seeing the same energy being put forth for my project that he was putting forth of his. You know what I mean? Like, and what I'm saying is, like, going down to the labels, you know what I mean? Making sure everything was getting done that's supposed to be getting done. You know what I mean? Staying on their backs, because anybody knows, like, if you're not on that mother label about doing the stuff that they're supposed to be doing, it just might not get done.
Right.
And that's what was going on. And it seemed like nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, this is crazy, man. Like,
At that time, sorry to cut you off. At that time, because y'all always part of the group together. Now at this time, D Block is established. You, Sheik, Jada.
Yeah. So let's be clear with this though, because a lot of people have a misconception when they think of D Block. Let's be very clear. The Locks, my big, and like I consider these guys my big bros. You feel what I'm saying? Still to this day. And I'm gonna get to that as well. But they're a 3-man group. With me added on was D Block. You never heard of a D Block until I came in the picture. So, but we wasn't like a group. It was more of a movement and an imprint. You know what I mean? With 2 artists, which was Sheik and J Hud.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify the group thing.
Because I was gonna ask you, did Jada or SP step in to try to, or did you expect them to step in and help you as well during that situation, or were you looking at just Sheik to help you out?
Nah, that's like another thing, man. Like, I was gonna actually elaborate on that and speak a little bit on that, because a narrative was placed out there that I wasn't ready. You feel what I'm saying? Which was far from the truth. Not only was I ready, but the product was fire. You know what I mean? The thing is this: that narrative was pushed out there because if they wouldn't have came up with that, they would have looked a certain way for not putting the product out. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like how I looked at it was the normal artist. You have if you're even signed to another artist, you normally sign to one artist. So I'm like, yo, I was fortunate enough to sign to 3 artists. So I'm gonna have the 3 of these guys to look at, you know what I mean, to come in the studio and dump whatever knowledge that they have into my project or into me,
Of course.
and to make sure that I have everything that I'm supposed to have for my project to be successful. So if they felt like I wasn't ready, it's 3 of you guys come together collectively and come tell your little homie what he's missing from his project. And that didn't happen.
How did you feel that you was ready though? You wasn't established as an artist yet to feel that they were more established than you. They can tell you if you're not ready or not.
And you still young at the time too, right? Now you're like what, 15, 16?
Nah, at the time when I got the first deal, I was 17.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So when I say I was ready, like I said, I'm not just a age is nothing but the time that you've been on earth. That doesn't make me naive. You feel what I'm saying? Like when I say I was ready and I know I was ready, I was on everything that you name. You had people like, and no disrespect to anybody, but you had people like Freaky Zeke dropping, and Hell Rell and Jewels, like everybody was dropping, and I'm over here at the place for 4 or 5 years, repping it hard, daily. I'm part of the cause of us inking these deals. You feel what I'm saying? And I can't even drop a project.
What mixtape or what freestyle put you over?
Put me over?
Yeah, over. Like that was one of the biggest buzzes you had.
I mean, I think the first freestyle when people first heard me was the one that really caught the attention of everybody, and that was the one I did on Clue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that was when Jada first took me up there when he dropped his first album. He took me and 2 other guys from Yonkers up there, and what ended up happening was all 3 of us spit 2 verses. And after we spit, the next week after that, Clue came out with his tape, and I was the only one on it. And he told Kiss that, the streets was talking, and, I was who they wanted to hear. So that's how that happened.
So, but you say go back to it. You said you felt that you were ready. You wasn't naive. We accused you of being naive. But you said that even if you weren't ready, they should have came in collectively and showed you what you was missing.
That's what I felt.
Okay. So, at this time, what was brewing in the streets as far as, like, was any beef going back and forth with, was, like, around what time is this that this is transpiring? Are you guys in any verbal wars with any other crews or anything?
Yeah, we had, I think this was a little after the back and forth we had with Rockefeller State Property. You know what I mean? We had the little back and forth with G Unit. I think it was like, during the time of both of those. So we just could have. It's a lot that we could have done. You know what I mean? Like we just didn't capitalize off of a lot of shit that we could have. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's sad. You feel what I'm saying? And like, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the shit that I did when I was over there and the way I left was absolutely not the right way. You feel what I mean? But I didn't think that at the time, being as young as I was. You know what I mean? I wasn't. It was like a lot. And this is also a misconception that people have. They think that a lot of that was caused by me being upset that my album didn't drop. And again, that's totally wrong. I was upset at the fact that these guys wouldn't let me out of my contract. That's what the whole beef was about. I had got past it not dropping the album. That wasn't even like, I didn't care about that anymore. I just wanted to leave because I had other labels that was offering me money at the time, and my mother had just beat liver disease. I was the only person in the house bringing the chicken in. So I'm like, you trying to stop me from eating? So I was frustrated. I felt betrayed. I was young. These are the only people that I looked up to as big brothers. I'm like, they would never put me in a position to fail.
Right.
And I wasn't able to articulate myself in a well enough or proper enough manner to them as men. So I did the bullshit, lashed out, and you know what I mean? Like all that other silly shit.
Looking back now, like, do you, how do you feel you would have took that if if all of them or one of them told you that you weren't ready?
I mean, we would have just had to talk. We would have had the discussion that was needed. You know what I mean? Like it really wouldn't have been no issue. We would have discussed it like brothers the way we supposed to.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure something out, and I commend you for your maturity. But what I'm trying to figure out is that you were buzzing in the streets, right? They said whatever they said, and you say Mama Love just beat liver cancer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like you was overzealous, meaning that but Mama Love is important, so let's skip that. But let's skip that because that's important. So we can't even nothing can compare to that. What I'm saying is that at the time, you know, before I asked the question, when did you realize that things wasn't going your way when your album didn't drop, right? Like when did you realize like, yo man, I can't rock with the group no more?
See, it's other key events that took place that led to the decision. You know what I mean? That I made.
Mm.
I won't like, you know, speak about all of them, but one particular situation is when we signed the second deal.